as parents, there is no place, there's no website you can go to that's where you can ask the question, okay, I have this child with intellectual and developmental disabilities and have all these questions, can you please answer those questions? Nobody has that information. And perhaps one of the things we're positing is that you guys, or at least the child's physicians and the people providing specialized services to her, are the ones who can really take the bull by the horns and help. But if you think that there are issues in childhood, I'm now going to talk to you about the issue of transitioning from childhood to adulthood. And that's where the system completely falls apart. It's completely scattershot. And the problem's not only a problem for the disabled adult, but for the parents or caregivers of that disabled adult. The transition challenge is absolutely daunting. It's daunting for me and Lynda. And imagine what it's like for somebody with limited financial resources, limited education, or limited English language capabilities. So I'm going to start my comments by focusing you on our one and only slide, The Demands of Adulthood, and that was produced by Maureen Brenner, who's the superintendent of the Riverview School in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. That is the specialized school where our daughter goes. It's an absolutely fabulous institution. And one of the reasons it's fabulous is because of its emphasis on helping students transition from student life to adult life. Now, that seems simple, doesn't it? Well, it's not simple. It's incredibly complex, and just look at all of the issues that Maureen and her team have identified in connection with the transition from being a student to being an adult. So, from my perspective, one of the most important issues is employment. You give a person a sense of self-worth by giving them a job. You give them a way to accomplish something and feel good about it. And yet, the unemployment rate for developmentally disabled adults in our society is about 75%. And for those on the autism spectrum, the number rises up to about 85%. So, I guess one could argue you could still obtain some sense of self-worth by volunteering your time on a consistent basis, but somebody's got to organize all this. Okay? Somebody has to be the enabler. And beyond the issue of employment, I see that the demands of adulthood is falling into three distinct categories, one being financial, the other physical, and the last physiological and spiritual. Since there's no federal minimums for support of the developmentally disabled, one's financial situation is almost entirely dependent upon the state in which they reside. So SSI, and where applicable SSDI, provides somewhere around $650 to $750 a month. Many people say, well, developmentally disabled kids, or as they transition to adulthood, they can qualify for Section 8, but that's just a misnomer. It's almost never available, and when it is, the types of facilities you can go into, you wouldn't want to be in. There's all sorts of safety issues. So the net result is that the housing is a paramount problem. Many disabled individuals, particularly in our state of Illinois, live at home until their parents die. And at that point, we're just hopeful that they rise to the top of the state's list for receiving supplemental funding. And this entitles them to placement in specialized group homes, or in Illinois, we actually still have 12 mental institutions. It's outrageous, but we do. While this is better than having no safety net at all, I posit to you that it's not very much better than warehousing. Our goal needs to be to keep the world as big as possible for our developmentally disabled population. And if I can leave you with one message, maybe it's that. This requires job coaches, it requires mentors, it requires staff who can function as everything from caregivers to trusted friends to life coaches to enablers. And only in that way can we give our developmentally disabled adults a life that allows for discovery, growth, and success.